The following is a presentation of Foosball Radio.
It's too loud, you're too old.
We could not believe it. We just went, oh!
I was a good bar player.
I was very vocal.
Very vocal.
I wanted to win.
This is Todd Lafredo. You're listening to Foosball Radio.
It's FoosTalk Live.
You talking to me?
Compelling and lively banter.
Are you going to talk to us?
Talking foosball.
Foosball was how I measured my value as a man. You took that away.
Players and fans, promoters and pros. Unedited and raw.
Talk.
Living in the moment.
We have a lot of important things to talk about.
All while practicing social distancing.
Cool. We'll talk. No big whoop.
Let's get this thing started. FoosTalk Live. Coming to you live from the Foosball Radio studios. Hey there, I'm Tom Robinson, and I want to personally thank our Patreon pillars for their support of Foosball Radio and FoosTalk Live. Our thanks to James Sparky Castillo, David Kalla, Carl Fleischer, Jay Teal, Brian Schmidt, Cameron Burrows, Mike Green, Jimmy Love, Dwayne Stewart, Judy Schober, Jamie Kunst, Rob Cutler, Reed Rector, Clay Toomey, Adam Gilson, and Matt McCrory with our friends from the 716 Buffalo Foosball Club. Thank you. Your support brings continued and expanding content from Foosball Radio and FoosTalk Live as we cover the greatest sport on earth. Visit patreon.com/Foosball Radio to find out how to become a Foosball Radio patron. Learn about the exclusive benefits we offer you. FoosTalk Live is brought to you by Original Leonhardt. The Leonhardt Tournament model is the most popular foosball table at the ITSF World Cup. Designed and handcrafted in Germany, order online and have it delivered to your door. Visit www.original-leonhardt-usa.com and use promo code FoosTalk to save 10% off your purchase price. Well, what do you know? It's episode number 148 of FoosTalk Live, and I'm Tom Robinson. Welcome. It's another night of talking foosball with another tournament happening this weekend, Georgia State Championships, and of course, talking about the lovely game of foosball is always better when you have somebody to talk to, including the greatest play-by-play announcer of foosball of all time. That would be Jim Stevens. Hello, Jim.
Hello from the 970, Tom. I love how the foosball communities always take such great pride in their zip codes to create foosball programs, especially up there in New York, right? Especially there in New York.
That's
it's important to take pride in your zip code, folks. Just that's what that represents. Maybe not in your U.S. Postal Service, which still has not been the same since COVID.
It's your area code in front of your phone number, though, isn't it? Like
that's the area code, right? Area code is what I meant. Area code, not zip code. You can take pride in your zip code as well. Yeah, it's always good to know your zip code. You can make your way home that way. But it's good. Just take pride in codes in general is kind of what I'm getting to. Hi, Adam. Adam from the 805.
Represent.
I got to ask you the question. I mean, you were out last week. In Portland, were you whipping up any mean and nasty Bloody Marys by any chance?
I was whipping up a mean and nasty Taco Bell tax. Unfortunately, my revels now were ended, and I got food poisoning while I was up there.
Yeah, been there, run that.
Oh,
messing up my mic management.
It's starting early.
No, it was good. I was out there, but hold on. You know why we say that? Because like if I were to say, "Hey, I'm Adam Gilson. I'm from the 93001," it just doesn't. It just doesn't.
You're right.
Yeah, it just
right
doesn't.
about that.
98218.
Not quite the same.
It's not quite.
Representing the 81301. It takes you a while to get there.
Yeah, that's good, Jim. That's really.
12833.
Yeah, zip code it is. We've decided.
Yeah.
Zip code it is.
Wait,
All
no.
right, fair enough.
Area code. You can't let
area
that
code.
go.
We've decided look at that.
I know.
I continue
Well,
to
but
do
no,
it.
we'll edit that out. It's only live.
It's only live. That's all.
I'm sorry, Tom. I totally interrupted you.
No. I was just going to say. I just wanted to know. Portland, Oregon. I mean, you were killing the place. I mean, just having a great time and.
It's my mother country. Jim.
Yes.
You know this. We've talked about it.
Mhm.
This is my adopted foosball family up there, and also my family. It's a great joy to me to be at a foosball tournament that is 10, 15 minutes away from where my parents literally met. I mean, and I got a chance to chat with them this weekend.
Foosball.
In foosball, at a foosball tournament. I guess it's funny. My parents met and I forgot the name of the place. It was like 10, 15 minutes away from the venue where we were at in 1974. And Jim, this is fascinating. I did not know this. My dad they met, both of them were dating somebody at the time when they met, but they both were immediately attracted to each other. But my dad did not pursue my mother. He was training for the Elitch Gardens tournament.
Wow, that's
Oh.
historic.
Isn't
That's
that
good
freaking
stuff.
cool? And then he went there and he totally just sucked. He was terrible. So he's like,
But he
well,
was there.
he
I
was
mean,
there,
and
right?
now,
Yeah.
just saying you're there. I mean, how many foozers over the years have we run into that say they were there? I'm up over. I'm in 3,000 or 4,000 by now who have said they were at Elitch Gardens in 1974 at that event, and I know that the turnout wasn't that big.
No.
But one more thing, Adam, as well. Even in Portland, Oregon, they serve better Mexican food than Taco Bell. You can find it, I promise.
Oh,
mm.
a case
No.
in point.
No, and that's legit. But at 3 a.m,
Mm.
but that's on that. No, and Jim, and you know, actually after Bardot.
It's taco of a different flavor.
Well, you know, fool me once, fool me twice, fool me 100
Yeah.
times.
I'm not going to get it.
I know.
No.
So
Yeah.
and we're just gratified to know that you had the opportunity to worship to your porcelain god.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, and I love the story. That is romantic foosball lore. Again, what did they meet because of foosball? Because they met at a bar at a foosball place. So because of foosball, they met.
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
same with my wife and I.
Yeah.
I was, same thing. And many couples, obviously, the Steve and Gina Murray being a great example as well of people
Yeah.
who met playing foosball. So if they didn't ever start foosball, whatever sparked them in that direction. In my case,
Right.
it was my grandmother buying me a foosball table instead of a bubble hockey for Christmas.
Wow.
And
Wait,
that's
seriously?
really,
Is
yeah.
that seriously it?
Yeah, I
Is
asked
it?
for a bubble hockey. I said, I want to play that game of Gordie Howe out there.
Yeah,
I want to,
sure.
And she mistakenly got me a foosball table. And man, I
Ooh.
was disappointed. Christmas morning, I'm going, Santa! But it was
bubble
horrible.
For you.
And
It was
but I got good at it really quick. And of course the table broke down within 3 or 4 months. It was gone. It was toast. And then 5, 6 years later, I walk into an arcade and I go, hey, wait a minute, I can play that game. And so that led me down this path to eventually meet my wife, right? So whatever directions, our lives are always making turns every day, every moment almost,
I
right?
love that.
And this one led me in a direction that I can't imagine a life without these 2 small children that I have
Right.
in the current life. Can't even imagine them not existing. And it all happened
really
because of
that's
foosball.
really, I mean, there's such an edge of prose and poetry to foosball, and that would be it.
Yeah. And look at the man sitting to my right,
Mm-hmm.
right, and above you, at least on my screen. No, that's correct. He would not exist
Not at all.
if it were not for
Yep.
foosball.
No,
right.
I was
So,
talking to a few people this weekend. I think Michael Stahl is in that same boat. There's quite
Yeah.
a few. I mean, would you not argue every second generation fooser, like pretty much is almost there because of foosball? You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
they're
yeah.
just
I'd say in at least 3/4 of the cases, that does seem to be the situation for sure. And that's fascinating to think about, isn't it? Again,
Yeah.
it says something about the twists and turns of life
I'm
and how.
detecting an idea for an episode or 2 or
Mhm.
3 here. Maybe having a whole week of or a month worth of episodes with featuring husband and wife teams or husband
Yeah.
and wife combinations that met because of foosball or played together.
family month.
Yeah.
Family month, yeah.
I love that.
No, look at this, folks. Stuff happening, creative juices flowing,
Mm.
things planted, and hopefully will grow with a little water and a little love and a little sunshine into these new features. And that's a really good one because it's actually a fascinating story. It's almost a clinical study of this sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mhm.
To where we find out how it happened and the fascinating ways that it may not have happened, right? If my wife doesn't hit that pull shot to win the championship in Georgia, she doesn't meet me, at least at
Mhm.
that point.
Oh my
And
gosh.
so all of these things that these little things you can pinpoint that changed everything.
Wow.
Yep. Everything. Yeah, that is so cool. I mean,
I'm
wow,
getting
well,
goosebumps over here.
write that stuff
Seriously.
down. We'll put it away for a rainy day here.
I'll
but
put
we're
that
gonna
away.
like it.
No, we'll put it away for a month.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know I'm getting thirsty as well here, Tom. But one more thing, and it has nothing to do with either area codes or zip codes, I promise. But we're getting closer to what we've talked about last week about this show featuring some of the legends of Minnesota foosball, including Ken
Mhm.
Allwell. Doug Furry, Mike Bells, Dave Gummison, names like that we would get on the show to talk about really what was truly one of the golden eras in the history of foosball, regional golden eras. Throughout history, you had different areas of the country creating the newest and latest and greatest players. And then the other area, whether it was Texas, Colorado, the Pacific Northwest, or Minnesota, Florida would be another one. But Minnesota, of course, primarily due to this nut goody program that they had in the high schools, where 10,000 high school players were competing on a daily basis, or at least playing on a daily basis, produced 5 Hall of Fame players, right?
Mhm.
And they took over the tour. You think of Wiz and Fur, you think of Ken Allwell, who was a great player. Bells and Bednar, world champions. Dave Gummison, of course. So it really, these incredible names that come out of that area, and so much history, and especially when you reflect back on the things that happened in the life of Doug Furry and the roller coaster that he rode, in terms of success in the 70s, in terms of the fall of TS, and then the death of his partner Jim Wiswell, and all of that. And if we do touch on that, we'll do it with kid gloves, I promise. But it's going to be a fascinating show, and we hope that it could be as soon as next week.
Could very well be. Could very well be. And of course, before we begin our favorite, most ultimate feature of all time that will live in forever. Before we begin this, I want you to observe. I made a little bit of an edit here in our music bed because, well, there was a large, big billboard complaint about. I hate the sound of that stuff behind you guys. I can't hear you. Ba-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, okay, well, I just made some slight, subtle changes. I just wanted to make sure our listener was aware of that he had an influence. So hopefully we've improved our engineering at this
All
point.
right.
I love
that
it.
sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there fewer belches involved in this one, or
Not necessarily, but
let's do it, man. I'm thirsty.
dang, let's do it.
What Jim and I like to do right about this time is to reveal our favorite IPA.
Okay, Jim.
I'm going back to right now, and I can't stay away from this brewery. It is something that when I am drinking IPAs these days, I am drinking IPAs from The Alchemist in Vermont.
Alchemist.
This is, I had the Heady Topper a couple of weeks ago, one of the great beers in America. This is a different IPA that they produce called the Focal Banger. Focal Banger. And you may remember this from the last time I had something from The Alchemist. It says right on the top of the can, drink from the can. Drink from the can. Drink from the can. It says it several times just to drive the point home. But the idea here is to drink from the can. And you know me, I'm a glass beer drinker. But when it comes to The Alchemist, I do drink from the can, and boy, do I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Alchemist. That's a great.
7% alcohol by volume, Citra and Mosaic hops, favorite British malts involved in the process as well. Again, fantastic beer
Nice.
out of the state of Vermont.
It's only about
Lovely New England's these days. I'm loving the New
33 minutes
Englands.
from the border where I live here.
Yeah. Oh, I
Vermont
know.
right there. Well, okay. Adam, what, pray tell, are you drinking?
Well, I'm going to open up here and be honest with you. I did not chill my 80. I have a Made West IPA hazy, local brewery, right, literally down the street. If I was a good golfer, I could hit it with a golf ball. I could probably hit it with a golf cart if I tried. But no, I put it. I threw it in the fridge. I'm going to go get it in about 30 minutes, and I'll report back to you. Because I think if I poured that into a cup with ice in front of you all, you'd kick me off the show.
100%.
100%. And I think I would deserve it. So I'm going to pass. I'll come back in about 30 with you.
Okay.
Not as bad as marshmallow with your beer, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, but that's a choice. As bad as it gets.
Tom, what are you having tonight?
Well, I went for the can this time, and it's called Tawny Frogmouth. Tawny Frogmouth. Really, brilliant sort of looking can here. This comes from Pennsylvania, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. It is the Evergreen Brewing Company, and it is a 7.5 volume by alcohol. And of course, we have to see what it looks like. Hang on. We're going to open it. There we go. Yeah.
And by the way, in case you're wondering, a tawny frogmouth is a bird. from the nation of Australia.
What do
There
they
it
sound
is.
like? Can you do the
Check it out.
sound? Shut up. Is that it? Is that really it?
Tony
close.
Frog. There you go. And
Mhm.
Jen identified that bird from the can. How's that for a birder?
Hey, that was my 20s.
Your 20s?
Mm.
It looks rather.
I don't even want. I'm not going to even touch that. I would not touch that.
That was my 30s.
Oh.
Come on, now I'm trying to take a sip here.
Sorry, Tom.
I'm happy to be your straight man. Very happy.
Yeah, that's rather tawny.
Yeah. I bet it's good. How could it not be?
Sweet from
Look at
Pennsylvania.
that color. Yeah. Where's that from again? What state?
It's
Nope.
Pennsylvania, and
Pennsylvania.
it's Evergreen Brewing Company in Pennsylvania.
I like it. All right.
Here's you guys. Wow. You got to see
I
the
do
color.
miss. I do miss that music on what is our most popular segment. Despite what that one viewer thinks, I continue to get cards and letters on a daily basis from our fans around the world who really appreciate this particular segment more than any other.
You know, we have to be able to pivot on a dime when we need to.
What was the complaint? Just because it was like,
Just in big bold letters. I hate the blah 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 sound effects.
oh,
So,
Hmm.
like, okay, we'll reduce
All right.
the sound effects.
all right.
Sounds like a couple of overreactions involved here, but okay.
Right.
Let's get on with the show.
Wait, do we have like
Well-
the finishing sound?
The finishing sound? I thought we did. Do you want to hear that again? We can.
No,
I mean,
no,
we can play
don't
it.
you end it. There's an end. There's an
we
outro.
didn't hear a thing throughout the.
Yeah, there was an
entire time.
outro.
You didn't hear the end?
No.
Oh, well, it's probably because it was so low this time. Hold on.
All right, let's play it all over just for that.
Yeah, no,
one
just
fan.
let's start from the top. Hold on. My beer might be chilled now.
Hold on. I get it for you. I get it.
No,
No?
there it is.
Well, we get the gist.
Yeah, we get the
Yeah.
gist. All right. Next.
Oh yeah.
Just like that. See? Just like that. So I hope we met the standard this
I
week.
hope that guy's happy. Tom,
Yeah.
what we got
Hey,
next?
so what are we doing on the show tonight
Yeah.
anyway? What's going on? Do we have guests? Do we have a format? Do
Oh.
we have anything coming up? Or are we just going to wing it like we usually do?
We have a hot or not tonight.
What?
How about that? A hot or
Wait,
not.
we'd have a flashback?
And oh yeah, we have a flashback too.
I love those.
But yeah, so maybe we should do the flashback and then we'll kind of get into our hot or not. But anyway, the flashback actually is a combination of flashback and also birthday celebration. So why don't we get to the flashback and see what happens here?
With great moments in foosball history, this is a FoosTalk Live.
Still being filed for second game, still championship point for Noelia Arcos. Down next. Here we go. For the win, for the championship. Peru's Noelia Arcos. Strokes it home. There it is. Noelia Arcos of Peru is the 2021 Colorado State Women's Singles Champion. Her second title here this weekend. She also won Expert Mixed. She'll be in the final of the Queen of the Ring event later today. What a story unfolding here in Thornton, Colorado, as that lady right there, Noelia Arcos, who gets a big hug from Argentinian Faye Redazzini, representing South America. Noelia Arcos is the champ. What a story, Jim. Looking forward to the Queen of the Ring tonight.
Listen in next time for another great moment in foosball history. It's FoosTalk Live.
2021, Noelia Arcos really showing us what she's made of, taking on Cindy Head in that finals. Wow. That was
Yeah, it was kind of a breakthrough for her. It's the day that Adam fell in love with her and gave her a nickname. And that, she has gone on now to become one of the best players in the world, no question about it. This is a lady who gives it on every ball. It is a sport to her, and it is a serious sport to her. She takes it seriously, and what a player she is. And that was a great weekend in up in Thornton.
so I know, Adam, that obviously you're there, and you and Jim just killed that commentary. What do you remember most about Noelia's big move on Cindy there?
Well, we saw in that moment the thing that she does that as Jim intimated that the lightning rod, which never caught on except for me, and I got a tattoo on my arm, so it was worth it. And honestly, in hindsight, like because she we can say it's a team effort, but the trophy you can't see it, it's hiding behind stuff, but she's a quarter, maybe a little bit more of a quarter of that win of our
Yeah.
next 4-4
It's right over
thing.
my shoulder right there. See it? The red, white, and blue with
Yeah.
with the star. There it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that
incredibly.
exciting night down in one of the great nights of my career.
Yeah, mine too.
Mhm.
No, but watching that, you could see that she just kind of things just happen around her. Now, the fascinating thing, and this is something that I think we cover a lot, or we talk about a lot up in the booth area that we're watching everybody play, is as people progress, and Jim, you've been seeing it for decades now. As a player progresses, and you see them hit their speed bumps, I guess, is that being
Mhm.
a polite
No,
thing?
that's
Right?
accurate. Yeah.
Right, and
Yep.
and so we saw that, and I think that I've been seeing that more than I've ever seen that before in the last year and a half, going to tournaments, just seeing players do that, and we saw her just come alive and do that thing that she is really good at doing at this event. And this was late. This was 2011. No, 2011. Oh my God,
21. Yeah.
2021. Thank you. And we've seen since then her uh, hit some high marks since then, but you can still see the things that make her good are keeping her
Mhm.
from making her great. And that's
No,
the
it's
art.
really interesting.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
artistry of foosball? Like trying to figure out what the hell it is that's holding you back, and you
Yep.
see that, right? And it's just so
So
hard. That's the
what
artistry there.
specifically, what specifically is you think that she's doing that's causing that?
Her strength, and I think, Jim, I'd love to hear what your take on this is. But I would say that there is a parallel between her game and Brandon Munoz's game in the early settings or the early
Uh,
goings for Brandon. Brandon's
mhm.
ability and just rod to rod speed and singles is amazing, but I was obviously holding him back. I still don't know entirely if he's like, I know he won the Tornado Championships last year. Again, I get that, but he's still meeting one particular speed bump in general by the name of Tony Sprademan, right? Now,
Mhm.
we're talking that high end thing, right? But Noelia, her speed, her ability that keeps her in so many games is also something that is not going to help her win past the higher experience levels, ability levels. And I think there's a parallel there between her game, her challenges, and Munoz's challenges.
Yeah, that's outstanding, Adam. And it's true. That style of play is going to create singles wins. It is
Mm.
because people haven't seen it. It's good. They're so good between the rods, so to speak, while also being good in the traditional fashion of setting up the ball at times and passing it. But for the most part, that isn't going to translate really well to playing the forward position, and it's going to create inconsistency, especially when you start going up against higher competition. And the most difficult thing to achieve in any sport, Tom, we've talked about this, is consistency. In life, the most difficult
Mhm.
thing to achieve is consistency. And it's not
Consistency.
something you try for. It's not like I'm going to be more consistent. It comes down to focusing on a lot of little things that then eventually lead to being consistent. It's about evolving, it's about adapting. And she is going to, and we saw Cindy Head do this because Cindy was Noelia 40 years ago, right?
Right,
And
right.
then Cindy became a great forward as well, even though she was so quick between the rods, really a woman among girls, so to speak. It really is remarkable. And I think there are certainly resemblances between Noelia and Brandon Munoz, but also her and Cindy Head as well. And I think that with some coaching and with continued experience, these edges can be rounded off a little bit to where you find that balance. And balance
Mhm.
oftentimes is what can help you lead to consistency.
So I just wanted to let you know that the reason I chose this match with Noelia, and of course it's a breakthrough match for her, but the other reason is because it's her birthday this weekend, and
Oh,
they
that's
celebrated her birthday at the Georgia State Championships.
Feliz cumpleaños. Yes,
Oh
happy
yeah.
birthday to Noelia. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome. It was a lot of fun that night. The four of us playing 4-on-4 at Texas. It was a lot of fun to play with her and see what she could do firsthand. Literally within, well, not even within an inch of us, because 4-on-4 can be a little tight. But it was amazing to watch what this young woman can do on a foosball table, and I think will continue to as she grows in this great game.
Yeah, but wow. And I noticed on the Facebook video they showed of her getting her birthday cake there at the tournament. I'm like, wow,
Mhm.
that is the coolest thing that our foosball family can do is get you a cake and and sing
Mhm.
happy birthday. I don't know if they sang it in Spanish, but
Yeah, as long as it's a big enough cake to serve everyone. Yeah, that's important, Tom.
well, yeah,
It is.
there you
Is it a good cake? Like if it's just some trash cake,
Mhm.
then
Yeah.
I don't care. To me, it's an
Mhm.
empty hug.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is. It's actually works its way towards the negative there. Not happy birthday almost, But
yeah.
but a good cake matters and having enough for everyone matters.
Good cakes matter.
Good cakes are always important. Incidentally, I just that brings up a subject that this last weekend I drove to Providence, Rhode Island, where my little sister turned
Mhm.
60.
Oh,
Six,
your little
my,
sister.
my little
Yeah.
sister turned 60.
Mhm.
I mean,
Take a breath, Tom. Just take a breath. Live in the
60.
moment. Everything is okay today. All right.
Anyway, but we had amazing cake. Amazing.
Yeah, what
Adam
kind?
has no response. He has no
What am I
response.
supposed
It
to
was
say
well
here?
mixed, I have to say. It was really
Yeah,
well mixed. It
what is it?
was well mixed, the cake.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't even know what that means.
Well mixed cake?
It was,
Toilets are
Mix
well
it, it can
mixed.
kind of sink.
it was the
Mm.
liquid kind. What can I tell you?
What the hell, Tom? Were you in East Palestine?
Gotcha.
Is that topical? I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Oh, now let's not go
Three
there.
people in the audience got that one, and two
Yeah,
of them are
right.
sitting right next to you here. But oh goodness, heck, we've gone
Man,
off the rails big time.
man. But yeah,
Oh,
so happy birthday to my sister. So turning 60, my
Mhm.
little
yeah. Happy
sister.
birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah, happy birthday. What's her name?
Meg is her.
Meg. Happy birthday, Meg. I know you're watching. They're in Providence.
Yep.
Happy birthday to you. Almost a happy unbirthday though, based on what he said.
Yeah, yeah.
With your toilet cake.
There you
Tom,
go.
what do we got next?
Well, tonight is the return of something we've been wanting to do for quite some time. And, and excuse me for saying this, but I think you've all been ignoring it for a little too long. But it is hot or not. And y'all know how to play hot or not, or do I have to refresh your memory here? Because it's been so long since we played hot or
Just based on the title, I bet we can figure it out.
so it's the FoosTalk Live version of Hot or Not. There are six topics. Six topics. Some of them foosball, some of them not. And you have to choose whether they're hot or not, and back up your argument here.
After we make our guesses, are you going to tell us which one's right? You're going to tell us whether it's hot or not, just to see who's right about it?
Oh, well, I don't know if there's a. I mean, it's really kind of subjective, don't you think, as to who
Oh,
would be
okay.
hot
Might
or
be
not?
that way then.
Hey, Tom, that's a nice. Pardon me. That's a nice clipboard. Did you get? What is on that?
It looks like a coach. Coach Tom, that's you from now on. Look at
You
that.
think you think I speak like off the cuff or like ad lib?
I want to see.
Ah.
What?
Uh-uh.
No, I want to see you with a whistle.
Hold on.
Wait, no, that was a
He has a
bluff.
whistle.
Oh my God,
He
he's got
has
a whistle. Oh
goodness.
my gosh.
He doesn't need to put on a striped shirt. I love it.
Foul.
Yeah.
Foul.
Coach Tom. All right, Coach. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
we're
do
ready.
this.
I'm leaning forward here.
God. Dang it. Okay. So hot or not? I just want to
Wait, what's the order? Are you going to tell us who's
Okay.
who?
Well, no, you got to decide who's hot or who's not.
No.
He's the
I mean,
coach.
are you?
Adam? He's the coach.
No,
he's
but-
gonna let us know. It's his
Okay,
job
all
as
right,
the
all right,
coach.
all right.
Yep,
I'll
let
sit
us
back.
know.
I'll sit back.
Here's our
I'll
first
sit back.
topic. It's foosball related. The color of the men, the black and the yellow men on a tornado foosball table. Hot or not? Go, Adam. Yellow, black, tornado foosball table. Hot or not?
Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, that's like, yeah, I guess it's hot because it's what we've always known. But like, if I were to say not, it would have to be revolving around it being different circumstances. Like if we were doing a blacklight situation, or if we're at a bolero or something. You're messing with my mind, Tom. I have no answer for this. I'm actually stumped here.
Are
All
you?
I-
I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win this one. I'm pretty sure. I'm
Oh,
gonna
it's a
get this one
freaking
right.
contest. Hold on.
No.
No, I have nothing. No, go, Jim. I have nothing. I don't know.
No, I agree with you though, Adam. I think it's hot as well. I think it's what we're used to. And here's the thing: two things. One, when you go to Europe, when you work a World Cup, an international event, a multi-table event, there are other tables there. Many of them have blue and red men. All right,
Mm.
white sides of the table, usually the green surface, and then blue and red. And to me, it's okay. Obviously, it's the American colors, 67% of them at least, but it's a little cheesy for me. It's a little bit much. And also, maybe I've just been, because I think Tornado is probably the best table in the world, and I'll say that not from an American's point of view, but from a foosball man's point of view, I think it probably is. And so you look at it and you say, "Wow, yellow and black. That's unique. It's only the Tornado table, the best table in the world." But here's the other thing: when have you ever in your life as a foosball man heard anyone complain about the color of the men, or it's seen results leaning to one side or the other?
Oh,
And what that suggests.
that-
All right. Well, wait a minute, coach. Just wait a minute. Let me finish. But that does suggest that it's neutral. That I think the combination of colors, which I'm sure they thought long and hard about, right, Adam? Yeah. So they came with that, and it's become neutral, at least in our minds. All right, Tom. Go ahead.
So
I can't hear the whistle.
you can't hear it?
No,
Whistle?
I'd be way more intimidated if I could hear that whistle.
Yeah.
Did you hear it that time?
No.
No, it's overmodulating your mic.
Are we
It's not
old?
coming
Oh,
through.
it's an overmodulation thing.
The gear is pushing
My-
it down.
My cochlea have been worked hard. Go ahead, Tom.
Anyway, yellow tends to be favored because it's on the side of the table where the balls are dispensed. And
That's a great point.
technically, when you're playing the yellow side, you have more control of the speed or the pacing of the game. When you take the ball out of the table and put it back, in play.
That's
You-
awesome.
So I think
I
yellow,
think that's awesome. That's a great point, Tom.
Yeah.
I'm going to
I like
rebut
that.
it here right after Adam.
No. I have a triple rebut here. It's not even a rebut. I just want to know. Can we? So what's the official Jim Stevens line here, Jim? Tornado, best foosball table in the world, bar none on this planet.
I think it is. I think if we were putting together our top 5 tables, and we would never do that, by the way.
No.
I think probably when you're talking about the popularity of it worldwide, and if there was a vote, I think it would probably come out on top. I
So
think it would. I think among the Europeans, I think of a great number of the Europeans. I've had many, many great European players tell me that the Tornado is the best. It's the major leagues of the world. It's the Premier League.
So
Yeah.
all right, wait, follow up, because this is fascinating
Okay.
to me.
I feel like I'm being set up here, but go ahead.
It's not a setup. No, I don't set people up. If I set you up, it's when I put gluten in your food and you're gluten intolerant or
Yeah.
no.
Ouch.
So where would it be if you were to rank just American foosball tables throughout the history in the last 50 years? Number 1, and what would be number 2 or 3? Just out of curiosity.
I think I would go TS number 2.
What color?
Not nearly actually the blue top was the best of the 3, but
yeah.
they only made it for the 1 year.
It was.
So I would put the blue top number 2 as far
Sure.
as in my career.
Yep.
Because the brown top just destroyed my hand and wrist with that big fat handle,
Sucked.
right?
That's
Mhm.
not good.
And then after that, I mean, the striker was a good table
It
made
was.
by Johnny Lott, but they were so inconsistent
Yeah.
for a variety of reasons. But a good striker was a very, very good table. Dynamo also certainly a good table as well. Warrior, very good table. So we've had, one thing here in America that we have had quite a few really good tables, whereas in other parts of the world, maybe Germany is excluded here, but I think for the last 40 years, their tables have been not that dissimilar from each other. But here in America, we've had kind of a wide variety of very playable tables.
Last question, and then I'll cede my time. Where does Fireball sit on that? I've never played on a Fireball.
No.
Fireball, in Fireball wasn't around. We had a tour in 2010, and it was the official American table for a couple of years when Tornado backed out of the World Cup. Fireball would be towards the top of the list as well. It's a
You liked
table you
it?
could do anything on.
Really?
Oh yeah,
table.
Adam, I am a Fireball doubles world champion
Oh my gosh.
with
And you-
Tom Yor.
Really?
Wow.
Where's you, I need to see it. Oh, is that what that is?
That's what that's.
Oh.
There you go.
Now this was in pro doubles. Now what that means though is in an international event, only pros are allowed to play. pros or above from their countries are allowed to play. It isn't a lower division than Open. It's a higher division than Open.
How cool is that? Now, what year was that, Jim?
2012 in Taiwan. I won it with Tom Yor. Got to play with Tom Yor.
Fireball. And Fireball is Chinese, correct?
Chinese table, made in. It's a Chinese Canadian table. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Designed in Canada and manufactured in China. But you're right, Adam. That table also would need to go to the top or towards the top of the list. Very, very playable table, whether you're American style or European style.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I've never played on it. I've always wanted to play on it. So
It's a cool table.
I actually have a Fireball table. I have the first Fireball table ever in America. So
Really?
right over here in my garage. Yeah.
Oh, well, he's a Fireball guy.
So Adam, come to Durango. Come to Durango. We'll play a little Fireball. We'll
Come to
have a great time.
No, that's on my list.
Please.
It looks like a lovely city. And hiking.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Nothing.
Okay. I can see you down there. You want to put a
You
shawl
guys
over
are,
your head?
I know you guys are having a record year for. Did you get some snow there in Ventura?
6.5. Oh no, but it was
I bet
pretty
you had
bad.
6 inches of rain or whatever.
No,
Yeah,
it was
crazy.
wild. Like this is not
Yeah.
how. I mean, you know this
No.
area, Jim. Like this is not.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Like
6 feet of snow at Mount Baldy, and snow below 1,500 feet, Malibu.
So you know where I
Yeah.
live.
Crazy.
You know where I live,
Yep.
and there's the 101 right there,
course.
right? Like,
Yep.
yeah. So it was all just dead stop this afternoon because the 5 was just done both ways. Both ways.
Well, the 5 is up. Yep.
Yeah. So it was like,
And the
wild.
101 is the other way to go north. And so
Right.
if you can't take the 5 north, can't get through the Tejon Pass, you got to go around, and that's going by Adam's house.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So I'm just out there waving and being like, would you like some Slim Jims? $18.
And people were buying them. Good job, Adam.
Of course.
You're thinking
Hey,
now.
Hey, I'm all about the hustle.
Dude, you are the best.
But again, and again, I know, Tom, your point about being on that side, the balls that do come out that side, certainly when you're practicing, that side's going to get more play. For me, I'm too lazy. I don't want to take the ball out of there. I'd rather
Really?
the opponent did. Yeah, I
You
don't want to
would
have to pick it
do
up and ask them if they want me to set it down or hand it to them. I
Mm,
want to just be on the other side. So my wife here at home, my wife is on the side that delivers the balls. She's on the
Here's
yellow
a
side.
question. When someone takes the ball out of the hopper,
Stop it,
and
Adam.
they're about to put it back in play. Question.
Yeah.
If they tap it on the side of the table first before they set it down, hot or not? Adam?
Whoa. What? Say that again? I didn't realize we did the next
If
thing.
someone
Hold on.
takes the
Yeah,
ball
we
out
did-
of the
It's a
hopper before
follow-up.
they tap it 3 or 4 times on the side of the table and then set it or give it to you to play. Hot or not?
All right. So on the side or on top of the wall?
Oh, on the rail. They pick it up and they go on the side of the top, the side of the table.
I am
they-
very no. If it was on top of the wall,
Yeah.
that's how I learned, and that's what I do, and I'm
Yes.
a huge fan. Hot. If it's a side, I would think they're being just a dick, and I don't want anything to do with them. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, no, but on
Yeah,
top, no, hot.
Our good friend Franco Del Pozo says classic foosball etiquette. Thank you,
Yeah.
Franco. Yeah, I hate it. I hate when they do that. It's
You-
like back in the day, you had to do that right before you served it. You tapped it twice and you put it in the hole so you could serve the ball. We don't have to serve it anymore, folks. Now we're setting it down in the center and starting there. Don't be annoying and irritating by tapping on the side of the table.
Well, how about if you tap the
Jeez,
ball on
that
top
seems
of-
obvious to me.
How about top
you
of
know?
the opponent's man? Don't.
No, that's even worse. God, I hate that. I'm
That's-
coming around the table if you do
That's
that.
rude.
Mhm.
No, not on that. No, that reminds me of
Okay.
something.
I'll never do that.
I was one of the funnest things that I saw. Actually, I've been seeing is Brandon Munoz play Funzy a 2-ball.
Mhm.
It's so funny. He'll take the ball, he'll pick it up, and he'll tap it on the man as it's on his 3, and then put it back down, and then he'll put his hand on the 3 bar, not the handle, the 3 bar inside the table, and then do a push kick. And he hits it harder than I could actually hit it with my car
Wow.
because he's Brandon Munoz.
Yeah, right. Well, okay. Our next topic of hot or not.
Thought that was a good tidbit, Tom. But
Was that like a little? That was a little follow up. That was like a secondary hot or not, wasn't it? It was like a warm or cool.
Tom's
See,
Tom's a pro.
I've
Look at
got-
that clipboard. That's a huge clipboard. Mike.
It's all here.
Yeah.
Right? So again, no
I know.
ad libbing.
Cannot
don't do
ignore the clipboard.
right. So, okay,
No.
next topic. Adam, hot or not? Google Maps. Hot. Yeah, I love the look.
Uh,
Google Maps.
okay.
Hot or not?
All right. So, what most of you don't know about me is that I'm working on getting my master's right now in English at Cal State Northridge. And one of the big things that I'm doing this semester that's just kicking my ass is I am writing a journal kind of thing following the last couple years of my life. Foosball is involved, obviously. And one of the other things that I'm doing is tracking my honeymoon that went through Bavaria, went through Denmark, went through whatever, Germany, blah, blah, blah. And the cool thing about that, this was in 2015 for 3 weeks. The cool thing about that is that I got to look at my Google Maps during those times, and it actually tracked all that.
Okay.
Big Brother tracked all that for me. So now I can't remember that stuff. I've had a child, and I don't even know what's happening anymore. And it's really cool to be able to see all that. But the neatest thing is that when I look at the map from each day, it's this geometric representation of where I was walking. And in Europe, you walk. Here I will take a golf cart to my living room, but over there, and that's what I like about it. So I'm gonna say Google Maps is hot.
Nice. Wow. Jim, Google Maps.
Well, I'm going to say it's hot only because I'm addicted to it in a sense. Because when I first started Inside Foods way back in the day in the 1990s, Christina Fuchs and I would crisscross the country. We literally were on every interstate, east, west, north, south. We went everywhere, right? And back in those days, you had the Rand McNally. You had the big book. You opened it up, you tracked it, you went where, and that was really fun. It was really enjoyable to do that. But the one thing it also did is it created a mental map for me. I literally can find my way around most American cities. I certainly can. I know how to get, across America, up and down, and crossways. But it's pretty awesome sticking that phone up on my counter and going to Google Maps and having her tell me, and she's so nice,
Oh,
having her tell me where I need to turn next, almost ad nauseum, because there are times when she tells me too many times too soon. But I use it, and it's amazing technology. And yes, Adam, they know where we are. We've come to accept that. 20 years ago, if the government's going to know where we are every second of the day, every single American, where they're going to know where we are, we would have gone, oh my God, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to stand for that. And now, for the most part, every single person in America can be tracked by their cell phones, right?
Yep.
And now we've come to accept it. And it's okay because of all these other benefits that we get from location identifying, including Google Maps.
Yep.
Location.
And yeah, and as a follow up, I'm happy. Like I was just actually having this conversation with my chiropractor, as you do. I'm like, no, because she's like all terrified of that, and she said, well, I didn't know. I'm like, no, I signed off a long time ago. I don't care.
How'd you get that?
No, I said,
So let me picture this. You're right in the middle of expressing your opinion to your chiropractor, and right in the middle of that, you shift.
I what?
Shift.
Oh
Yeah.
no. I'm just saying.
Think about it. Just think about
I'm
it.
thinking about it. I'm just trying not to visualize it.
Yeah. Me
no.
too. Trust me.
I know, right? Anyways, Tom. Point is, I like
is
Big Brother, and I cannot lie.
the greatest.
Yeah, I've accepted Big Brother as well.
Yeah.
1984, that novel of the future, is now 39 years ago.
Oh, I mean, George Orwell was a futurist, for God's sake.
Yeah.
It's simple. Okay. Hot or not, Adam? This is Ellie. This is by the way, this is foosball related. But you, because you were there in Portland, Oregon, I want to know the hot or not of this. The red as opposed to the white LED lights that were being used for timeouts and the end of a game and a match.
Oh no, I thought that it was I knew that kind of thing was going to be not easily accepted at the beginning because it's different. But when people found out that the reason why is because these ads were being played during that, much like you would see in a major league sport or whatever. There was never another thing after that. It was nice.
Okay.
And hold on, and here's the nice thing about this. The people that complained were the ones that were staring at the light when it turned white. And I'm like, buddy, that's a you thing. Let's be really honest. 'Cause I learned, but and honestly, by the second day, no, actually, I was throwing up in my toilet on the second day. On the third day, I remember Rob Mares talking to Tony Sprademan, and Rob's. I remember Rob saying something like, "Oh, this is just like it's different." But he goes, but it makes sense if they want to do ads, like it's for the
Mhm.
sport. And I'm like, well, duh.
Yeah, going back to Europe, my days of commentating in Europe, World Cup in particular, when it was live on Eurosport, and there would be a replay after every single goal, right? But with Kazum,
Mhm.
and they didn't have lights, but what they did have was an official at every table, two officials generally at every big match, right? Controlling that match, running that match, coordinating it with live television. They have a bug in their ear. They know they know to hold the hand up, and the players got accustomed to it so that they could run that replay. But in any professional sport, by the way, I'm saying hot on this, even though I wasn't there. But
Okay.
in any professional sport, anything we can do to greater enable us, or at least move in the direction of having major sponsorship, having live television, or at least major television exposure, anything we can do moving in that direction is important. And so when I heard about this, I was like, that's cool.
Cool.
That's really good. That's a good way without officials having to be there, because you can't have officials necessarily at this stage of the game at every match. Hopefully in the future,
Yeah.
for every big open match, 100% there needs to be one. But in this case, to have it done remotely or automatically, I thought was great, and it was good thinking again by those folks up in the Pacific Northwest who are pushing the envelope on some things. And we talked about this last week. You asked me a question last week, and I'm kind of going off the rails a little bit here, but whether I thought that foosball was in a good place. And am I feeling good about where foosball is headed? And I said, for the most part, I'm not, except for what they're doing up there in the Pacific Northwest with David Kalla and Brad Lorena and Adam and everyone else
Yeah,
who
that was
works
great.
their magic up there. And of course, Tommy Brewer and Steve Murray and the Chapmans. And there are other pockets that are
Mhm.
doing things. But overall, there still needs to be organization. We're not going to revisit that tonight because we were there ad nauseum almost last week. But anything that moves in that direction moves into the future with the potential of sponsorship, with the potential of television, with the potential of organizing. And in some cases, like Adam says, it's going to take a little bit before the players get accustomed to it, but they will. I
Yeah,
promise you, they will.
becomes a standard.
But anything that moves in that direction, I say hot on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice. No, and Adam, when you guys were doing the commentary last week, during one of the more major matches, which by the way I was really enjoying, I loved it when the light went on. They took a timeout. They were pretty cool with that, with the 30 seconds. But when it was between the games and it was 90 seconds, I could notice a little bit of anxious anticipation on the faces of some of the players. Like they just wanted to get back on the table like they normally would. They wouldn't wait the full 90 seconds before they would start the next game. So they had to stand there and kind of, you know, do something.
As it is in every other sport, you have to take the full
Mhm.
compliment, get used to it.
Right. Love
Yeah.
it.
And no, but Jim, 100%. That's just how it is. The
Yeah.
major league. If we want to make that feel like that, and I obviously I agree with you 100% on what you're saying as well, Jim. But let me put this another way, because you know me, you all know me, and how I'm always very pro getting better at the things you're spending so much time doing.
Mm-hmm.
Jim, we talk about taking your time. We talk about it, and some folks out there should literally have a red light shining in their face. Because how many times? I mean, it feels like, Jim, 99% of the time, people that have a moment, that have 30 seconds or 90 seconds, don't do it. They go and they waste their damn time, and they come back, and then they get just their clocks cleaned.
Yeah.
Because they don't have any
Yeah.
idea. And I'm not saying that this changes that. But I did see a lot of people that were doing this and feeling uncomfortable in between matches or in between times because the light was telling them what to do. And I hope to hell, I hope to hell that they interrogate that about themselves and ask why they want to go back as soon as possible to get their asses kicked, instead of
Right.
thinking about why they're getting their asses kicked.
Like,
And
can
I'm
you delay it
I'm not saying the
more?
light's going to change anything. I'm not, but I'm just saying, take your damn time. It's
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah. Well, I had a feeling that would evoke a little bit more response this time. That's why we tossed that in there. Okay, so next topic, hot or not? Adam, TikTok.
Oh,
Hot or not?
F TikTok. What a
See?
cancerous pile of grossness.
Do I know you or do I not know you?
Adam, can you say what you really mean?
What a double,
Um,
triple cancerous. Anyways, go ahead.
It's a tough one to go hot or cold on that. I'm going to lean towards cold just because it
Mhm.
is, again, I feel like the American public, the world public is being led in a direction that may not end up being a healthy one. But I am not on TikTok. I've got Twitter. I've got, obviously Facebook and others, although I use them less than ever these days. But I've heard good things about TikTok. You can go and you can find out how to change your transmission fluid in your 84, Acura. And you can do a lot of things and do it in an entertaining and dancing way. But I've also heard other things, and I know that for me, someone with an 11-year-old daughter who does not have access to TikTok, TikTok's also on YouTube, folks. You can find videos, and we tend to keep her away from it. So
Right.
for me, the idea of social media in this way, I'm sure 10 years ago I would have said it's great, it's awesome. But to see where it has been taken, I now hesitate with that. And I'm going to have to lean towards not on this one as well. I don't necessarily see at this point that it serves a great service for mankind, and so I'm going to say not on
Not.
So,
TikTok.
I,
Do not.
gosh, Jim, and that's
And it's
great.
not because we're old. It's not
No,
because
no,
we're
no,
old.
no.
It
It's
isn't.
not. No. We don't
Yes,
need to
it
qualify that. Let me just add. I want to add on to that because there's a no. I just spilled my water. Listen. So here's the thing, right? I when I first got onto TikTok, it was near the end of the not the end of the pandemic. It was like early 2021, and I got on TikTok, and it was amazing. It was 30, 60-second sound bites of really
Mhm.
well produced information from people that weren't like famous ish, that were giving me information about things that I cared about. And then the more you go down that road, the more the algorithm meets up with your interests. So I was finding, and this is the thing, and you go out there and you look at this. There's fermentation TikTok for those that like to ferment. There's canning TikTok.
Fermentation?
You can go in if you want to learn about fermenting stuff. Like that's my interest. There's
Oh.
there's gardening TikTok. There's the hot pepper sauce TikTok. There's like all kinds of stuff. There's these different little geographic areas of TikTok that are really amazing, and it is really, as Jim was saying, it is very, very informational and really awesome and really great to be able to see like 30 or 60-second sound bites. But the underbelly, the gross underbelly of that is the toxicity that persists, that is just so unhealthy, especially, and myself included, but like for the younger generations. And I'm not saying that I should be telling them what they should be doing, but it's a shit show. It's unhealthy, and it is a siren song. Like
Yeah.
you want to see you want to grab your children and tie them to the mast of your ship. What a weird thing to say, but I think anybody
It's
that
very
knows,
appropriate, though. It
yeah,
works,
but you
I
know what I
tell ya.
mean,
It's
right?
accurate.
You
Yeah.
want to keep them away from
Right.
that because it's so alluring
Yeah.
and it's so easy. And I was following that, but at the same time, things would pop up and you could see the different areas you can go, and
Mhm.
it's just so bad. It's just so not.
Yeah.
It's not how.
And as Go ahead, Adam.
No,
Not how.
Go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
No, and as parents, right? Never before, Tom, have there been challenges like there are now. I want everybody to know I am not old. If you want to know how to fix your cell phone, I 100% will do it. I don't care if it's a Samsung or it's an iPhone. I will tell you what's wrong with your software. I'll tell you why you're not getting your emails. I'll tell you any of that. I will tell you how to stream video. I will tell you how to get the highest possible megabits per second on your internet. I will explain to you many technological advancements that are occurring because I have kept up with it over the years, and I've experienced it. Both I've experienced Facebook, I've experienced YouTube, I've experienced Instagram, I've experienced Twitter, all of the above, which is why I'm not on TikTok.
Mhm.
So believe me, it isn't because we're old; it's because we have the context through life experience
Right.
to see the damage that's going on. Well, everyone who is intimately involved with TikTok maybe doesn't always see that. But like Adam says, and you can say that about almost anything that we put a not on as opposed to a hot, is that there's a good and there's bad. It isn't
Oh.
100% bad. It's not 100% good. It's just 70-30 in this case.
Mhm.
The things that we see. And again, as parents, and having to find that balance, how much technology do we give our kids? How much do we not? We got to let those brains, evolve. We got to let them develop before we want to bring in all this social media or technology. And finding those answers is elusive, and it's a daily thing with my daughter in particular, of finding how much to give and how much to take away. And I think at this stage, TikTok is not even on the short list of anything coming up for my daughter.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, and and just to put a bow on this, because I have to bring it back to foosball, as Jim is saying here, like the 30%, the good thing about TikTok, and we could argue, but the percentage doesn't matter, right? I
Sure.
think the negative overwhelms the positive, but
Yeah.
the positive part of the technology and the process that is involved in TikTok is so amazing.
Yeah.
And if
Mhm.
humans didn't come in and gum it up and make it terrible being humans, human are getting human, right? And I'm going to draw a direct line to how a lot of people feel about foosball and maybe what the problems are with foosball. If we can kind of step back from our own human egos or whatever it is that we have, whatever you want to call it, that's not for me to decide,
Yeah.
and make it a little bit more and just focus on the beautiful positives that do exist. My goodness, we could be bigger than cornhole.
Pickleball.
Bigger than cornhole.
No, we're not going to be bigger than
And
cornhole ever.
never, it'll never happen. But it's a challenge, folks.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you can also make the argument that Facebook has changed
Yeah.
foosball in a very positive way, especially
enough.
early on, the way it connected the community, or the way the entire world is in touch with each other, the way we can communicate, advertise, etc. Foosball, Facebook for me was a huge tool, both from the perspective of Jim Stevens, commentator, and Inside Foods throughout the years. So you can make that argument. But again, as Adam says, the human beings always got to get in the way and muck it up.
Well, case in point, the technology we use right now to do what we're
Yeah.
doing right now,
That's
to be
true.
on Twitch TV, and of course,
Discord and Twitch.
Discord and the other technologies. I mean, it's great. Again, it's yin and yang, dark and light.
And welcome to life.
Yes.
And to a
You know,
turkey,
Mhm.
dark
Sorry,
and
I was going
light.
to say that as well.
Yeah, dark and
I thought you didn't like turkey.
I like both.
I don't like
That's a
turkey.
yeah. I think we did that question, hot or not, back around November, late November. Pretty sure we did. Yeah, I'll drink to that.
Okay, let's continue.
My
Hot or
drink.
not.
Your beer, quick, Adam.
Oh
go.
God. Here, wait. You, yeah. But Jim, you start. I'll do. I'll be
You
right
have
back.
30 seconds. You have
All right.
30 seconds to
Time
pull it out.
out. So yeah, no, I think especially with last week's episode, Jim, I think we covered some territory considering our advanced age. But no, this this topic that we went through, of course, discussing the future of foosball and what technology can do for us. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obvious we're benefiting from right now.
No, it's like anything else. Humans, guns don't kill people. Humans do. Facebook, the internet, social media doesn't hurt people. It's the way we handle it, the way we manage it, the way we use
Mhm.
it, and it can be used obviously for a very. As someone again who has been streaming foosball now for 20 years
Right.
and has worked on that side of the other side of the camera. I had to work on the other side of the camera in order to be on this side type
Mhm.
of thing. Believe me, I know that as well as anyone. How important technology is, how important social media is when managed properly. And thank goodness that iTunes has all kinds of controls for my daughter's Apple Watch.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, I can control
parental controls?
everything. She has a
Oh,
flip phone. She takes a flip phone because she rides the bus. So she
okay.
can call or she can text, and that's it.
Good.
And then she has an Apple Watch that only
Mhm.
works at home, except as a watch.
Ooh, okay.
And
Okay.
so, again, little by little, you work in that direction. You got to find that balance. How much do we give? How much don't we? How much of
Mhm.
the real stuff do we teach? We make sure we do. But technology is inevitable, and social media is something that is always going to be there, and it's going to be part of their lives. But to give them the balance,
Yeah.
again, that word coming up, the balance and consistency, which again applies to anything, is vitally important for sure.
I've overheard more than one conversation with parents because I'm not a parent, but conversations where I'm privy to what they're saying, but debating whether or not to get their 7-year-old an iPhone.
Mhm.
Debating it.
Yeah, and I'm involved heavily in that business these days, and
Yeah.
I see it. I see parents, and I shake my head at it. That at this stage, when the brain is still developing, they're
Oh,
going to give a kid this highly addictive piece of technology that early in life. It's a little frightening, and then but they also have people who then realize it to the hard way and then end up
oh yeah.
taking it away.
Oh, it's when their kids come home and demand it. That's the other problem.
Yeah, expectations, setting expectations is big. Adam, what are you drinking?
I think he's swimming in it. He's not drinking it.
No, I left I left it in the freezer too long, and then it exploded on my floor. So, um,
Well,
well, it
that
would have
explains
been
What are you not drinking? What would it have been?
it would have been it was just the leashless, no, not leashless, the Midwest hazy IPA, which I just tried Friday night. I was at the local place. Oh, it was so good. It was really grapefruity. It was actually almost too fruity, but I wanted to try it at home, but now it's on my floor. So
All right, nice try. What's next, Tom?
wait, Tom, what
there's
was I missed it? What did I want to answer?
mention.
We just
No,
filled
there's
time. We just filled time.
Oh, you
That's
didn't
all we
do it.
did
Oh,
until
that.
came
Thank you.
back. No.
What a bunch
We're
of
just talking
pros.
We were just talking about technology and kids.
and
Oh,
the influences that technology has,
right.
which can be yin or yang, light
Okay.
and dark.
Okay.
By the way, I could recommend it's a device called a Depends garment that might help.
That's not technology, buddy. Those were invented probably 7 or 8 decades ago.
Like, what are you talking about now?
Are you saying that I peed on the floor, Tom?
No, 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 no. We believe what you said. We do. We believe.
You think I cover?
We'll take you at your face value. It's okay.
Take me at my piss value. So what's up, Tom? What's our next one here?
All right. Hot or not, foosball tournaments, including 20 or more events for an entire weekend. Hot or not, Adam?
Ah, wow, Tom.
Foosball tournaments that include more than 20 events in a weekend.
Okay. All right. Okay, so look.
I can see Jim's expression already. Like, oh God, I've got to answer this now.
No, go ahead, Jim. I'll cede my time to Jim.
No,
I can
no,
go
no.
first. I can go first. And,
Yeah.
and I obviously politics factored in here, but ideally I'd say not on 20 events or more. I do understand and realize why certain promoters felt it necessary, and it's also become, to some degree, the model these days.
Hmm.
And I understand why. I understand why that is from the financial point of view, because they went down a road early that created an environment where they kind of had to do that. We talked about it a little bit last year. At some point, and I'm not saying it's now necessarily, but at some point things are going to have to be scratched and rebuilt.
Yeah.
And looked at differently, right? And we, of course, over the years with Mark Torres and Adam and Tom, you and myself have talked about the Swiss system and
Yes.
about how that is a greatly reduced number of events without sacrificing the amount of play, high competitive play.
Boy.
In many ways, it's better, and we've talked about that for a long time. But the model that was originally created, and we can go back more than 20 years, and you can't pin it on one individual. There were several factors involved on how we went in the direction initially of packages of needing to have a certain number of events in order to liquidate an event. We understand all that, why it happened.
Mhm.
But at some point, we do have to look at it differently and understand that for a player to feel like they had a good time, it might be even better to have fewer events. How often have we heard, some tournaments have 30, 35, almost approaching 40 events. And at
Wow.
the end of those weekends, players are so foosball fatigued, they don't even want to look at a table for a while, right?
Yeah.
And at some point with that repeating, I think it's partly due or partly responsible for the attrition rate that we have seen over the last 5, 10, 15 years on the back end of people saying this is not how it should be. It's too much. Again, to encapsulate, I'm saying not on that, yet I understand why it's happened.
Adam, that opens the door wide for you.
Let me elucidate that point. If we're talking about why there's that many events, So as tournament soccer was bombing in the late 70s into the early 80s, and then you had the Chicago thing that happened, and all the prize money went away. One of the things, as I was talking to my dad about this weekend or last weekend in Portland, was that there used to be 3, 4 events at tournaments at the largest cash money tournaments that existed, right?
Sure.
And that model was based on a house of cards. I've talked about this. How many times have we talked about this?
A bunch.
Tournament soccer was selling tables and they were making money, and it went down to the promoters, but there was like 3 or 4 or 5 different middlemans, which was not a way to run anything, right? And what ended up happening is that once the table sales dried out, because they never went to home models, it was always tournament models. So
Right.
once that happened, they ran out of money to fund these things. That's just the bottom line. And so what happened? What did the model turn into? You get rookies, you get all these different ranks that started, paying for it. And that's what we have now. It's been like that for what, 40 something years now, as old as I've been alive. So whatever. This is what we have, and this is how it's happening. And even if it's 20 events or 30 events, is that just the way that we want to do things? What do we want? I mean, if we ask this question, I think what we're really asking ourselves is, what do we want foosball to look like? Do we want it to be an ultra efficient thing where players go to these things and they play from 11 in the morning to 11 at night, not spend too much money and spend $1,000 or $1,200 and play the most amount of foosball they can? Can we maximize that? Jim, we've seen this at Thunderdome. I've seen this at the Portland Mashup. I've seen that with that Swiss system where we can bring people in and play as much foosball as possible and get better because they're playing with people they wouldn't normally play with when they
Right.
do those other events, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's antiquated. And it's no knock. And this is the thing, and I think that we can all agree on this. It's no knock on any of these the tournament directors. They've got their bottom line, and that's fine. But what this begs the question is what this begs the question is that what do we want foosball to be?
Right. Well, okay. Let me just toss in a proviso here, because back in the day when foosball tournaments meant 1,000 people in a location, less events, but a lot more people playing, and certainly more revenue generated because the number of attendees. Now it's the reverse. You have way less players, way less attendance, and yet more events.
Yeah, I can see there probably is a correlation there, Tom. The other thing, though, is that as the sport evolved, it became more and more reliant on player entries. And Mark Torres is a guy we can get going on this topic better than almost anyone. But the reliance on player entries to completely liquidate a tournament created an environment where they needed to make X amount of dollars to do so. But yet again, there were, and like Adam says, there might have been, let's see, there was a DYP on Friday. There was one mixed doubles event. There was an open doubles and an expert or a novice doubles, an open singles and a novice singles. So basically 6 events for a weekend. And maybe as things went by, they had a second chance, this or that. And I do recall the late years of tournament soccer, they would have a second chance double, second chance draw for players who weren't still in, sort of thing, but not the numbers that we have now of events in particular. And so there could be a correlation there. I think there were other factors that maybe drove the attendance beyond that, but it's certainly something that that needs to be looked at. And when we do eventually get to this roundtable idea and we talk about things, a lot of what we talk about is going to be a little painful for some people, but it also hopefully is going to initiate change moving forward. And as we talked about last weekend, Tom, as I slowly ride into the sunset here over the next few years, I want to leave the sport as much as I can, at least with ideas about where it can go and the changes that need to be made, because we are sort of, players are still having a good time out there. There are still very good tournaments out there, but we're still kind of stagnant, in
So,
where we are.
is there? Maybe there's a touch of fear in change. There's
Of
fear,
course there is. Yeah.
and
100%.
what is the fear doing to us, but holding us back?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, there are forward-thinking promoters out there willing to try the Thunderdome type idea with Tommy Brewer. I know Steve Murray is always trying to try some new things, the guys up in the Pacific Northwest as well. But there is a fear, and especially like when going to the Swiss system, where they're afraid players will see this and not show up, and that affects their bottom line.
Oh,
So
well,
ideally, you create a model where you don't have to rely so much on player entries to support a tournament. You have other ways of doing so, and I think that's a model that has to include a strong federation, and in the stuff we talked about last week, and the stuff we've been talking about here for months.
Adam,
What?
You're-
I don't know.
you're defensive.
Jim was just no. I mean, I think what we're that's what we're talking about here is what it is that we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in other words, I don't think having too many events is the long-term answer.
Mhm.
Having more than 20 events.
All right. And it's the same thing, and I'll finish off my thought. We're still talking about what we want foosball to be, right? Everybody's used to the double elimination bracket. That's fine. It's what's been working for tournament directors, and again, I'm not going to knock tournament directors that are just trying to get their bottom line filled, But at the same time, we want like long-term growth. What makes foosball better, and what makes it more entertaining to watch, right? And what makes foosball players better? Not that system. So what do we go forward? I don't know. I'm not. You see me running tournaments? No.
Right.
No, I don't do that because it's like I don't want anything to do with that kind of
Very
thing.
difficult thing. And we take our hat off to anyone who runs a tournament. Anybody who takes the time and the effort and the literal blood, sweat, and tears of putting on a tournament, whether it's small, local, regional, or state, or even national. That is tough stuff. That's
100% agree. Yep, absolutely. The heroes of the sport are those regional promoters that have been doing it and pushing it forward as much as they can within this particular model. But the model can change and make it even better for these regional promoters.
And doing it on a piecemeal basis to start with, to experimenting to see if things work and how better to run them, even on a smaller local or regional basis. That's a great way to start. And
It can be for sure, but if you're getting direction from your federation, a direction that is developed and manufactured through input from everyone around the country, and then perhaps people sitting near the top that have experience integrating those sorts of things, coming out the other end with maybe better solutions, is something that needs to happen. First thing, though, strong federation.
Yep, nice. Well, we have one more topic on hot or not. Hot or not. Adam, Nashville hot fried chicken. Have you
I've
ever
never
had?
had it, so
You've never had?
pass.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I'm aware of it. I'm a lover of fried chicken, certainly, and fried chicken for the most part was developed down south here in America, and then tossing a little bit of hot sauce on it after the fact,
Mhm.
right? Or even cooking it within the batter, having some chili and such in the batter. Um, I'm not a guy who loves hot stuff, but I love the idea of it. I'm saying, I mean, how can you not say
And it's
that
not like
it's not hot?
super hot. I mean, you can make it that hot, but when I had Nashville hot fried chicken last night from a gourmet fried chicken place.
Ah, I see. So if you
Perfect.
had gone to Chinese, it would be about General Tso's here in number 6. Okay.
But
I
but
can't even
Nashville,
laugh at that, Jim. That's too
oh,
funny.
I had Nashville hot.
No, it's General Tso's. Sorry, Tom.
But I love the idea of advancing cooking styles, whether I enjoy them or not, and I'm sure I would, with a little ranch dressing or blue cheese, probably better.
Yeah.
But I love the idea of it. I love anything growing, changing, adapting, evolving.
Oh,
I think that's important. All of us should live our lives that way, and certainly in the culinary world, that applies as well.
and so now we need to place an addendum on this because last weekend, since you weren't here, Adam, you're hard at work in Portland. Um, because we were talking about Jim's eye view. We talked about the zen of salad making. The
Right.
zen of salad making.
Mhm.
And I have never heard of what Jim was talking about
No,
when
I
it
know.
comes to.
No, I wanted to hear what Jim would say about that because I've heard him talk about salads, and
If
it
you could
is
recount what you told me last, Jim, that would be really awesome. So I can write it down this time. But anyway,
You can still watch last week's episode if you want to. No, the zen of cooking in general. All right, Adam, I'm sure you relate to this entirely. Salad making just happens to be one of my strengths. I know you have other culinary strengths yourself, but there is a certain in the moment. Nothing else matters. You're not thinking about what could happen, what did happen. You're not worried about spilling the salad, or you're not worried about back when you accidentally got radishes instead of jicama. You're not worrying about those
Wait a
sorts of
minute,
things anymore.
Jim, are you
You're just
triggered?
in the moment.
Do we need to
You're
talk
just in
that
the
out?
moment. You're just in the moment, creating in the moment, creating a
Yeah.
beautiful thing, being a salad. Tom, what's your question for Adam? I
No,
didn't really catch
no,
that.
no, Jim,
No, no,
no, Jim, no, Jim.
totally missed
I
that
remember
that
you
whole
telling me
end
what?
of salad making.
Yeah,
What you talked about the Hawaiian papaya seed?
that's
No,
my salad, man. Yep,
I don't.
that's
Oh,
my
yeah,
salad.
yeah.
The Hawaiian papaya salad, the 27 ingredient salad, best salad I've ever had, best salad anyone I've ever made it for has ever had. Adam, someday.
Yeah.
But it absolutely, it's what it does for the people you serve it to, which Adam, when you're cooking, it always matters almost
Mm-hmm.
primarily. It is also about just the combination of things, whether it's sweet, whether it's sour, whether it's crunchy, whether it's soft, just having different contrasts, and addressing all those. And the whole thing kind of comes together through the process of being in the moment as this thing that represents what life is all about.
Like foosball.
That's well said.
Being in the
I love
Are
it.
we really ending on a food topic tonight?
We
Is that it?
should.
We don't have
You know what? No,
no.
if no,
Should we?
no, if foosball could be a little bit more food centric than whatever weird stuff they do, then I think we'd be all
Yeah.
very happy.
I know when I type text sometimes and I want to say foos, it says food.
Yeah. See,
Mhm.
the
Autocorrect.
algorithm knows.
Yeah. Algorithm does. No, trying to lead us in that direction, away from foos
T-
and into food.
Tom, you got a
I
foosball?
can end this if you'd prefer with
I
a
don't care.
non-topic and a more foosball based topic, if you wish.
I
All
don't
right, one
care.
last one. Let's do it. Overtime. We're in overtime,
Ooh,
Adam.
OT.
Adam, hot or not? They, in the new coverage in Portland, which I really enjoyed, there was a shot during the time from the cameras that was directly over the table, like directly over the table. Hot or not?
Oh, I mean, I would say that was hot in the sense that if my issue with that shot had been, oh, I like how
Don't think. Be in the moment. Be zen here. Don't think about what I'm going to respond to.
I don't care what you're going to say, Jim. I'm more concerned about what I might be saying offending other people. I don't.
I'm
I'm on-
inoffendable. I
No,
know that.
no, I'm not worried about you being offended. No, no.
I mean, it's
How
it's
about let me just say this. How about this? As executed, I liked it a lot, and I really enjoyed once you get used to the angle.
Yes.
Where who is who, you can kind of see the shots better because that's as you're standing at the table and looking at it. That's more how you play versus if you're standing at reffing it. Personally, I think anything that we put in our quiver as far as how we digest foosball is hot, especially if it's not executed in a way that makes it. Go ahead, Jim.
I love the quiver. I love the quiver part of it. I'm going to use that here in a sec. So Adam, let me ask you this, and I didn't watch much of the coverage at all, but what percentage of the coverage would you say was on that particular shot?
Oh man, that's a hard one, Jim.
Once in a while. I mean, it wasn't.
No, I
no,
just, I
it's a
don't,
feel,
I
yeah.
just, no, but I don't
Your
pay.
feel for it.
I feel less than half.
Oh,
Okay. For me, the amount of time, and as someone who blocked out, who envisioned, who created almost in front of anybody before anybody, and in terms of how to televise foosball, right?
mm-hmm.
That particular view, which over the years I've had the ability to do at times, and having looked at other sports, pool included, I found that at the most you would use that particular angle 5% of the time.
5%. Okay.
5%. And primarily, and again, with Kazoom, they fell in love with it early. I had to talk them down, talk them down, talk them down.
What's Kazoom?
You know,
I don't.
Kazoom was a production company in Europe that covered all
Oh,
the
okay.
World Cups and World Championships, and also live television on Eurosport, where we got 1 to 6 million people watching. And they used that as well. I had to talk them down out of that because the problem with it, it's great for replays. And we talked about this last week, Tom. I know it's great for replays. Look at the X's and O's, look from the top. You can see the ball does this and this. It's great for that. But otherwise, you said it yourself there, Adam. You kind of you watched it and it was fine. You got used to it, but you're relying on the human eye, the human brain to get accustomed to something instead of giving them some candy to look at, something more naturally appealing. There is a reason in tennis, which has been televised for more than 50, 60 years, there's a reason they don't use that shot except for the occasional replay to maybe show a line in, line out, or show a certain angle on a shot. Other than that, it's always behind the server or the receiver of serve, but at one end of the stadium, right? And it's comfortable to look at. It's very easy to see everything. You're comfortable with it, naturally comfortable. You don't have to adjust to it. It comes to you.
Yeah.
And so for me, yes, Adam, in your quiver, it's nice to have that arrow. It's nice to have that overhead angle, but you got to use it judiciously. You got to use it for replays and maybe the occasional shot just to change things up, to differentiate the human eye. And that's the one thing we've, over the years, obviously I had as many as 10 cameras on table number one at times, right? Because I wanted to keep things moving. I wanted to let that eye follow me and what I'm doing as I mix those cameras. It's going to this guy, it's going to that guy, it's going down the middle, it's going overhead, it's showing the crowd, showing the announcers, whatever. I want to lead the eye along. And I think having that in the quiver gives you another option. But I think, again, it needs to be about 5% of the time.
And I'm
So-
curious. I don't know if you saw. Well, you didn't get the. Well, obviously, since you didn't see the coverage, like, did you see like the angles or the cube thing? Like, did you ever do a truss kind of situation?
Sure,
is truss the actual term?
That is the word.
Because
yes.
when I hear truss, I think.
I know what you think. Don't bring it here. But all right, easy, bud. That is what it's called. And certainly over the years, we've had literally access to any camera angle we wanted, we could get. Okay, anything. But it's what's comfortable for the eye, what excites the eye. How quickly can you get from that shot being scored to the reaction of the player?
Mm.
How often do you go to that center shot, which creates this sort of mano a mano sort of look? How often do you go to the overhead, as they called it in Europe on Kazoom, the French, they called it the beauty cam, because it gives you the crowd, it gives you the arena, the majesty of the whole event. How
Is that a
often do you go to
cognate?
that?
Beauty.
I'm not going to answer that question, but but you understand what I mean. I'm not sure they understood what beauty meant. They're French. They didn't speak French. But the idea
They don't have a word for
it
jolly.
worked. I didn't correct them. This was usually one set way up high in the stands, looking down at the huge crowds, which we often had in Nantes, and the players off in the distance.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's how you use those arrows in the quiver. And as someone who did it for almost 30 years, not only was the commentary key to the product, but so was the timing of the camera switches, in which cameras you go to and when you go to them.
Yeah, in any TV production, that's true. There's usually, and Jim, remarkably so, you're able to do this as an individual by yourself.
I played the piano and sang, Tom. Yes, both.
Walk and chewed gum. But, back in the old days, before digital technology, in a TV set, you would have a director, you would have an assistant director, you would have three or four cameramen. You'd have somebody running like a videotape machine, and each one of them had just one job. And each of them had to handle those in a specific timing governed by the director themselves on a script.
Yeah.
And so, that's basic, but at the same time, it's difficult. It's hard to do.
It is. It takes experience. It takes a certain eye. And I don't want to diminish what's going on up in the Pacific Northwest with what they're doing. Some of it's trial and error, but also the people involved have also experienced the Inside Foods product for a number of years. They know what worked for Inside Foods and its coverage. But I guess the last point I'll make, I'll ask the viewers out there what they think of the the one camera set up at the end of the table, where that's all you have all weekend, or the mixing of the cameras, the switching of the cameras. And I know what they did up in the Pacific Northwest last weekend was pushing the envelope as much as they could. And I'm sure, knowing those guys and how smart they are and how connected they are to the history of the sport and the way it's been covered, I'm sure that it'll be a quick evolution in the right direction.
Right. Well, because I was there, I was looking at that kind of stuff, and I was seeing they were doing the camera switches. And it's not saddening. I just think about how, what do we have, the limitations of technology, I guess. I don't know. I'm speaking out of what do they say? Out of school, because I don't know technology very well. I'm just happy to be using OBS as long as I reset it as much as possible.
That's a bunch of OBS.
Right. Yeah. But I kind of see how sometimes Inside Foos has the static views and things like that. But I know how you feel about that. Well, we don't have to.
We were limited. We were limited by manpower as much as anything.
No, I don't
Obviously,
mean back. I don't mean back.
if you have individuals holding those cameras, they're not as static. They're not as set. But manpower was always an issue.
No, I don't mean back then. No, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But no, that's neither here nor there. We don't have any control over that now.
I think we just both said hot, Tom.
There you go. Hot overhead view.
No, I
No,
said not.
no,
I said not on overhead. You're right.
no.
Oh.
But no, but it's the arrow. It's the quiver thing.
The quiver.
It's how
Yeah.
it's used. It's how it's used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
the one thing I noticed, and I think what I mentioned it last week, is that overhead shot, when the ball is directly under the rod, it disappears from the camera view. You can't see where it is. So
You don't get the depth, yeah, and that's, I guess, what it comes down to. You don't get the depth. It's more of a flat look than the end of the table. You get a little more substance, depth to what's going on.
what I really like is zooming in on, let's say, the 3 row as it's about to shoot. The 3 rod,
yeah.
the players set up, and there's a defender trying to move their players in a specific way to block that shot. I love that angle.
Yeah, that was, for probably 20 years with Inside Foos, once we adopted that close up of the far 3 rod in particular, that
Mhm.
became almost the signature shot. But the
Mhm.
key there is, and it was always key, and meanwhile, here I am commentating, but I'm also working the switcher, at least after Iceman Moore and others did it for years. But it's being able to get off that shot. If they miss that close up, you got to get onto that table shot quickly in order to see where the ball rebounded to. And so those are the little things you learn over the years on how to really be looking at, where am I going next? Where am I going next? If this happens, I'm going here. If this happens, I'm going here.
You
And
know,
how do you follow the ball?
you mentioned
Yeah.
Iceman, and I'm excited for maybe talking about tournaments coming up, but I'm excited for Hall of Fame, Jim, and I'm excited to. I think one of my great pleasures last year at that tournament, outside of getting sick.
COVID, I believe.
Yeah, it
wasn't
was
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah. No, but those mornings, you and Brad and Iceman just slinging stories.
We had a breakfast.
Oh
I think
my
we talked about
gosh.
it on the air afterwards, where it was me and Iceman and Brad who had, we were the band. We did it back in the day, internationally and everywhere else. And Adam was with us. He was our fourth. And Adam sat there, probably didn't say a word the entire breakfast as he was eating whatever he was having, his omelet. I think it was like a California omelet, with white toast, I'm pretty sure, and hash browns. But as he was eating that, that was really all he was doing, was eating. He was listening in to the stories. And Iceman is such a storyteller, and Brad Anderson, of course, as well. And I'm thinking they're going to be there in Las Vegas. Adam and Tom,
heard
you
that.
guys as well. I'm hoping I make it. Yeah.
What do you mean you're hoping you make that?
Talk
Okay,
about that in the post show.
We'll come back to that then. Tom?
Yeah, no. We had Georgia State going on this weekend. I know we're going to probably recap that this week with Foos Week, and of course talk about the upcoming
South Dakota
tournament.
State was going on this weekend too.
South Dakota.
Yeah, there's so much foosball going on early.
South Dakota I have in my calendar as a different weekend, but that's my bad.
I don't know what to say to that.
Yeah,
I
right.
have no answer. I have
Yep.
nothing. No.
Nope.
Oh well.
You're the coach.
Yeah, coach. Yeah, blow that whistle.
What's up, coach?
No,
On
I'm just-
myself,
don't blow yourself. I can't hear it if you do that.
I've not heard the whistle one time.
Not once.
Well, one way or the other, I am going to do my best to get to Las Vegas. That's for sure. And now that I know Tom Robinson is coming and Brad Anderson is coming, I may have to hitchhike my way there.
That's going to be a hoot and a
in April.
half.
Yeah.
Any,
Just for the breakfast alone, I literally thought of that, Adam. I said, I want to go just for the breakfast.
Oh yeah,
Let's go and
no.
have breakfast again.
Listen, Jim, you, me, Brad, Iceman. I'm sitting there listening, and there's dead raccoons on the wall. I'm like, who could ask for anything more?
That was just very, very special
That
morning.
was a very
Very,
special.
very special morning.
hunting lodge? Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, is that
No, it's
where
just
were
the
you
cold.
for
Oh,
breakfast?
and this is the other thing, and this is why it's we can. I think there's a whole series coming up in March that we need to be leading up to, for all the FoosTalk Live fans that are going to be listening, like the Hall of Fame guests, blah 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 blah. But I think that what's going to be interesting is this is the last time it's going to be at the Golden Nugget. I don't know where Hall of Fame is going to be after that, but I know this is the last time it's going to be at the Golden Nugget. So
I'm guessing it'll be in Lexington, Kentucky, is my guess.
that's your over.
Now, we don't know, and that's kind of just how it's been over the years. Oftentimes, you don't know where things are going to be next year, but we'll worry about that when it comes.
Okay.
Well, I'd say we've covered some more territory this week. This hot or not, of course, is always unpredictable, but you both played well. I have to compliment you on that.
Phew.
Yeah,
Thank
really.
you. Woof. I was worried about that. Yeah.
You did what you could. So we are about to convene yet another episode of FoosTalk Live, the 148th episode. So parting shots, Adam. Let's have you kick this off. What do you think? What's your parting
148 episodes. My first episode was with Ben Kempler.
Ben
Episode
Kempler.
66.
Yeah,
That was my
before,
first one.
Bardo, correct?
Yeah. No, it was it was before Bardo. It was right after Nationals 2021. Wow.
Then we went along with Ben Kempner. We went and we sang a little karaoke. That was a lot of fun. And there are
For us.
rumors of an announcement soon, if it hasn't happened already.
No, it is.
about
No,
the
we can say it. We can do it.
It's
Yeah,
done. We
yeah,
can talk about it. All right, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
At the Kalahari Resort down in Austin, Texas, in the middle of August. It's going to be the Bardo.
we have
I will be there.
Good.
Texas State. I'll be there.
Good. Oh, good.
so middle of August, but do we know the dates yet for Bardo?
It's a weekend of the 17th, August 17th or something, I think.
Okay.
That's what
That's correct.
Brad, yeah.
Making-
so-
And again, that's such a special event, obviously, the competitive side of it. But now it's going to be almost 2 years, more than 2 years since the last one, which unfortunately increases the list of fallen Foosers that we will be celebrating the lives of.
yeah.
As
And I guess that's it for me. Looking forward to getting back out there. This is maybe the longest stretch I've gone in maybe 30 years of not getting out and commentating foosball. So I'm looking forward to hanging with you guys. Even if I have to hitchhike to Vegas, maybe I'll take the Greyhound. But I'll be there one way or the other.
wow. Now
Can't
there's
miss that. Can't miss that.
can you pack all that gear on the Greyhound? That's what I want to know.
Oh, gear is not my my bailiwick anymore.
Oh, got it.
Your what?
That's true.
Your what?
My
Bailiwick.
bailiwick.
I've never heard that term before. I love that term.
Oh, gosh,
bailiwick.
look it up. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh,
No,
Adam.
I've never heard that. No, I
I'm
love
going to use
that.
it from now on. Oh,
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Oh, I love that. Hold on.
I think it's the area that a London policeman patrols, I believe.
Wow.
You are 100% correct. Ooh, I love that term. I've never heard that term. I love new words. Bailiwick.
That's your bailiwick.
Yeah.
That is so thrilling for me.
Yeah.
To you,
Right.
like such a wordsmith that you are.
Yeah.
For me to have somehow come up with something you've never heard before, that
No, that's awesome.
makes my day.
No, I appreciate
actually,
that.
what makes my day, that doesn't make my day, but I do appreciate. I do really
Okay.
appreciate that.
All
My
right.
kids had 3 basketball games today.
Oh, nice.
I had a wonderful day yesterday with my wife on her birthday. We went on the Durango Narrow Gauge Railroad, which goes up into a canyon. It's one of the great railroads in the country.
Cool.
We went to an amazing dinner downtown, and then we
Mm.
went to the San Juan Symphony Orchestra. where we heard both Prokofiev and Beethoven.
Mm.
Beethoven's seventh.
All in one
Beethoven's
day.
seventh symphony.
Oh, I love the
Prokofiev's
seventh.
second violin concerto. And so it was a wonderful day yesterday. 3 basketball games for the kids today. Here as we continue to live an ordinary life as a human being here in Durango, Colorado.
Go figure. Go figure. That Jim Stevens is a human. Did you hear that, Adam? He admitted to being a human being.
Well, he went and listened to the Allegretto, the second movement to Beethoven's seventh, which is one of the most beautiful, beautiful movements.
Very recognizable. Everybody's heard it, I think.
Oh
I
my
think
gosh!
so.
Even if they don't know, they have.
Yeah.
Right. One of those things. One of those songs that it's eternal. You've heard.
Sublime.
Yeah.
All
Well,
right, I think that's it.
Yep.
yeah, I
I'm
think
good.
And
Next week, hopefully, historic Minnesota is what we're hoping for.
looking forward to possibly Ken Allwell and Dave Gumison and Doug Furry and well, we're just keeping our fingers crossed about that, but we'll see what happens and stay tuned. But FoosTalk Live number 148 has now come to a conclusion. Foosball tournaments are everywhere. FoosTalk Live proudly presents a weekly update of events near you with the FoosTalk Live Tournament Beat. Here's what's up. Don't miss the annual $5,000 Arnold Sports Festival Foosball Tournament. March 3rd through March 5th, Columbus Convention Center, Columbus, Ohio. Merrimack Valley Foosball Club presents another fun Foos Day, March 4th at the Lafayette Club, High Street, Nashua, New Hampshire. The Costa Rica Summer 2023 Beach Tournament, March 9th through 12th, Amapola Hotel, Costa Rica. The $11,000 Wisconsin State Championships, March 16th through the 19th at Mad Apple Billiards, Appleton, Wisconsin. Don't miss the $15,000 Oklahoma State Championships, March 24th through the 26th, Magoo's in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's the 2023 South Dakota State Championships, March 24th through the 26th. Royal Rivers Casino and Hotel, Flandreau, South Dakota. Here comes the first annual Canadian Leonhardt Championship, March 31st through April 2nd, Montreal, Quebec, Canada. It's the 2023 Hall of Fame Classic, April 12th through the 16th at the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas, Nevada. The next 518 Foosball Smashdown is happening April 15th at Trickshot Billiards and Wicked Eatery, Route 9, Clifton Park, New York. The Masters Open Championship is April 27th through the 30th at Holiday Inn, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Florida. Don't miss the $10,000 Illinois State 10th Annual Foosball Championship, May 5th through the 7th. Poplar Creek Bowl, Higgins Road, Hoffman Estates, Illinois. Make your plans now for the 2023 Tornado Championships, August 30th through September 4th. Clarion Hotel, Lexington, Kentucky. Each week, we do our best to give you the most up-to-date listing of foosball tournaments near you. If you have an event you would like to add, send us all the details at info@foosballradio.com. Tune in every week for the FoosTalk Live Tournament Beat. FoosTalk Live is a product of Foosball Radio. With gratitude, we recognize our Foosball Radio Patreons, our FoosTalk Live sponsor, original-leonhardt-usa.com. And thanks to InsideFoos.com for use of their audio during the show. Tune in again next week for another episode of FoosTalk Live. In the meantime,
We'll see you, Susan.